Okay, this is what I'm currently reading, The Whispers by Ashley Audrain. And this author, I've read from her last year, The Push. This is her debut novel. Gave it 5 stars. Love this. Highly relatable if you want to read about like motherhood topics. But it really is a bit dark. So be prepared for that. Anyway, I bought this simply because I read her name on it. Okay, I have no idea what this book is about, and when I read the back cover blurb, honestly, it wasn't really that mind-blowing. There's not a big plot point for me to be so interested, so that's why it's a little bit nerve-wracking for me getting into this book, because obviously she is already at a high pedestal in my brain. So when I was like reading it, right, the first part really made me a bit nervous because, okay, this is a totally different story from The Push, because the characters here, we are focusing on one main character. However, in The Whispers, there are multiple characters that I have to keep track of, and I was like getting nervous. Like right from the beginning, you are introduced to the characters, and I actually even made like a small like reminder of who's the parents of who's married to who, and all that. But like right in chapter 2, I didn't need that anymore, so I was just like maybe traumatized by this other book that I read that had tons of characters. But the way that Ashley Audrain is writing this book, it is so good. Okay, basically it's like a suburban area, but there's like rich wine moms in this book, and there's one character who is struggling to become a mother, so she has fertility issues. The second one, she's a mom, but the way that she deals with her, like, it's a balance. She's trying to balance her life because she's trying to take care of her kids, but also she is a career woman, so she really loves doing her work, and she brings home most of the bacon. So there's that. And there's this other woman who she is a housewife, and she sort of envies the career woman, but at the same time she is proud of herself because she is able to take care of her own child. Like she's able to focus on the child. So I really find this very interesting, like all the different facets of multiple women who have, I mean, like the different kinds of women out there, you know, they are represented by the 3 characters. I mean, actually there are 4 characters. One of the characters is like an old lady, and we read a backstory of hers, but not that much. Like, I don't know, maybe it'll get more interesting towards the end, but her story is pretty sad because it seems like when she had a child, he grew up having this kind of, I'm thinking it's a neurodivergent disorder. And then the father, so her husband, wasn't really happy about that because he had a lot of expectations for his child. And now the kid is not in the picture, but I don't know where he is, if he's even like still alive, or yeah, where is he, because it's just the wife and the husband. So there. Anyway, I'm loving it. Okay, it's so juicy, and it's so, like, this one blurb, no one understands the secret lives of women like Ashley Audrain, and it's so true. Like, there are multiple quotes in here that I find so relatable, and like it's something that it could be like hard to even admit sometimes. Like, for example, how hard it is actually to be a mom, and like topics on if you should have continued on with your career but then you wouldn't have children, or like the desperation of having children. Yeah, anyway, all that. So I'm loving it. 27% through. I'm calling this 5 stars already, unless something really crazy unlikable thing happens towards the end. But Ashley Audrain, I think she's gonna be a back-to-back 5 out of 5 stars author for me, so I'm happy about that. I forgot to mention that recently I have been using one of the planners that I have for this year into a what do you call this? a book log. Why am I taking forever to think of that word? Okay, so I have like the covers on this area. There's a like to-do list part, and that's where I decided to put the cover. And I'm actually not done yet filling in the, you know, like a small bit of information regarding the book. I plan to put my favorite quotes here. Yeah, I'm way behind. On these areas, I have like TBR lists. Yes, and I only print covers when I have 9 at a time. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I have 5. So I need to read 4 more books before I can print out the covers for these other books that I just read. I like how there's a space where I can put the date as well. This is a non-dated planner, so that is why it's so convenient. See? Here it is. Yeah. So I can, in theory, fit 366 books in this because 2024 is a leap year. Okay, so I am 51% through The Whispers by Audrain, and I love this because it makes me feel seen. You know, the truths of, you know, being a mom and also having to regulate your emotions, or else you would lose patience, and that is really hard. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, if you have whining kids, like, you get overstimulated, and it takes everything in you not to yell. And that doesn't mean like I haven't yelled. I have yelled, naturally. I have yelled. I don't think there's a mother out there who has never yelled at her children. But it really takes a lot to try to control that, because you don't want to traumatize your kids at the same time. And you know, you really have to have that open communication with your child, like really truly listening to your kid and also apologizing when you need to. And they're busy right now. Okay, anyway, the one thing that I forgot to mention. Okay, I think I mentioned in the previous clip that I bought this book. Actually, that's not true. I mean, I picked this book, but it was my brother who bought it for me for my 30th birthday. So thank you, Marco. Okay, going back to the story. One thing I did not mention is this whole story sort of revolves around this event when during a party, the mother yelled at her son, but they were like in a room, and she really lost it with her son. And then she heard the party going on. It became suddenly silent, and then she felt so like ashamed that she has lost control over her emotions with her kid, and everyone heard her. So there's that. And then after 6 months, something happened. This same kid who pissed her off, let's say, fell off the window. And so now he's at the hospital. The neighbors are like saying, oh, now he's at the hospital. And one of the characters is a doctor, so she is attending this kid who fell off. And so far there are no signs of him like getting better. And the mother who did the shouting, right? She wouldn't speak to anybody, won't even like eat, won't even go to the restroom. Like, she's just holding her son's hand. And this is the part when she recounts the story of how like she came to have children, and she actually had children because she said to herself she might regret not having them. That was her reason. And I think, well, it's a good thing to talk about that being a not so good of a reason to have kids. Like, you really have to actively want to have kids, I think, for it to really work. Though I know that it happens, like some parents accidentally, you know, they forget to do birth control, and then they get pregnant, but they decide to keep it. Yeah, and that works out well for them. So, but having to think about children as something you may regret not having, and that's your reason, I guess maybe that's not such a good idea. And it sort of is reflected on this mother who just wants peace and quiet all the time. She wants time for herself and her work. Like she goes home and she wants the kids to be tired and sleepy, and I just feel so bad because when she gets home the kids are so excited to see her, and the babysitter slash help is trying to, you know, regulate the kids. Maybe I'm guessing that the help also knows that the mother doesn't really like to parent her kids. I feel like she's getting that vibes. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know if this accident that happened to her son will kind of change the way that she treats her children. Yeah, it makes you think about the kids who come here into this world unwanted. It really will mess them up because childhood. I believe in psychoanalysis. If your childhood is bad, like I know that it will eventually translate somewhat when you grow up, especially if you don't have anyone guiding you, or yeah, someone who genuinely loves you. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, I am loving this. Still a 5-star read so far, and you know what? I can rate this on Goodreads right now. I can say that this is a 5-star read. Also, I love how it's talking about. So there's this one, the doctor. Okay, the doctor is the one who is having fertility issues, and eventually she and her husband has decided to not have kids anymore because the husband. Okay, I think this has happened like 5 times already. Like she gets into like the 16th week of her pregnancy, and then she loses the baby because her uterine lining, I think, is not fluffy enough. Like the baby won't stick to her uterus, so that's the problem. And so the husband, on the first miscarriage, he's like, it's okay, we can just try again next time. And then eventually, until he's like, okay, I can't stop, I can't hope anymore, we gotta stop trying, we just gotta accept that this won't happen for us. And this breaks the heart of Rebecca, the doctor, because she really has never wanted children, but she wanted it more when she couldn't have it, when it wasn't possible for her to have it. So anyway, she told her husband, okay, we'll stop trying. But then secretly she stopped taking her pills. or she's not ovulating or something. And then now she is like past her last miscarriage, like the week. And now she plans to tell it to her husband that, hey, you know what? Actually, I'm pregnant again. So I don't want us to stop trying. But if it were me, I would be telling her, like, don't tell him yet. I mean, tell him when, like, you can't keep it a secret anymore. When you're like 6 months along or 7 months along, because you don't want to break his heart. Or I guess maybe because this accident that happened, the kid falling, it kind of changes her perspective a little bit, and maybe she's expecting her husband to have a different perspective as well. Yeah, so sometimes tragedy does that. Okay, I'm enjoying the book, loving it so much. Ashley Audrain, I can't wait for her next book. I'm not even finished with her second book, but I'm already anticipating her third book. Like, she is just amazing. I understand how other people might not, like, if you're a male who's not interested in, you know, the lives of women, you won't get it. You won't connect with it. But if you're thinking about having kids, or if you already had kids, or if you can't have kids, this is gonna hit. Yeah. Okay, bye. Oh, no. The end of chapter 38. Oh my gosh. Okay, like one mother is like speculating that the other mother could have pushed her son, because she does get like really extremely angry. But then she hears a confession made by her daughter saying that she has told the kid that nobody would care if he died. And this, I mean, saying something like that would have been very impactful to the young boy, because first of all, he's already unwanted by his mother. Like, he feels that he doesn't have any friends at school because he has so like low self-esteem. And then now this mother is thinking like it's possible that this boy has jumped over his window, thinking that no one would really care if he disappeared or if he died. Gosh, I feel so bad for Sadie. End of chapter 40. Do not count your eggs until they have hatched. Why? Why? I'm so devastated for her, but at the same time, she was just being hopeful. Okay, I have finished The Whispers. And first of all, perfect ending. Okay. Second of all, I love that Ashley Audrain is not scared to say things in her books. It's very unflinching, very realistic. Overall, like, there is an audacity, like the audacity to say these things, but it's the truth. It's the truth. So I'm going to be picking up every single book that Ashley Audrain comes out with. Like, I don't know, like, it's perfect. The story is very dynamic. The things that happens to these mothers, what choices they make, and how that will translate into their current life, and of course the life that comes after, like, and thinking that you can change something and make everything be all right. Just change it like that. But that's not the case. You can't do that. There's this one mom though, and I'm not gonna say who. Okay, like, one of them deals with the problem, like, will endure the problem, keep it closed, like, be satisfied with the situation, even if she's hearing the whispers. Basically, the whispers is like a woman's intuition. When you feel like there's something not right. Okay, so she's been hearing the whispers, and she has been like going back and forth about escaping the life that she has. But then she realizes other people have it worse than her, and maybe she shouldn't leave after all. And I think that's her final decision. But yeah, I like how there are twists in here, though it is a domestic, no one really, like, actually dies and gets killed or murdered, right? Yeah, but the choices here, it's like very human, and I think that's what I admire most about this book. It's not afraid to dip its toes into reality. And sometimes, okay, people escape reality because it's boring, but sometimes, it's scary, because the truth is scary. So when you go into a book like reading about like killers and all that, it's so easy to read those books. Why? Because it's fiction. It's so far-fetched. Like reading about mafias, and let's say like reading about witches, magic, right? It's so not rooted in reality, which is much more scarier than fiction. So kindly read The Whispers. The writing is incredible. Just the story, it's so mundane, okay? It's so mundane, but how did she make it so interesting? Like, that is the power of Ashley Audrain. Okay? Right. So anyway, that's for that book. I'll be picking up another book soon, maybe later
Bye-bye.
tonight.
See you soon.
My daughter has a haircut. So pretty. Okay, you say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you soon.
Good job. Good boy.